Okay, so show of hands, who feels like they go through phases where they just are not getting any better at guitar? Let me just go ahead and raise both of my hands because it is a reoccurring theme all throughout my time of playing guitar. Part of the reason why I want to talk about this today is that I'm going through this right now. I go through this all the time. You know, I'm constantly feeling like, man, I'm just not getting better. Like, what do I do here? So I'm curious if you guys have suggestions, what you do when you're feeling stuck, when you're just not, seeing that progress. What do you do? Because here's a couple things that I've discovered throughout the years. Now, many, many moons ago, pre-YouTube even, this is going way back, right? I was in a lot of bands. I was playing out a lot, but my playing was not getting better. And what I had to do was just realize that playing and practice are two different things. You can sit there and play and you will make improvements. You can just sit there, noodle around on whatever you want or play in bands, all that kind of stuff, and you will get better in certain areas. But nothing will make you better than actual dedicated practice. I had to come to the conclusion many years ago that, hey, you need to actually create either a practice routine or have a very goal-oriented playing session, whatever you want to call it. If you don't like the word practice, we'll call it goal-oriented guitar playing, to where there's something that I'm working on that has an end goal in sight, where I'm like, hey, I want to get this lick up to speed. I want to get whatever it is faster, slower. I want to increase my chord knowledge. I want to add new chord progressions, all these different things. I needed to come up with goals for me as a player to get me better. Now that was, like I said, that was probably 10, 12 years ago, and it helped a bunch. I actually started seeing improvements in my playing right away. Next thing that kind of happened that slowed me down, which was a very similar outlook, was started really focusing on YouTube, where I was making a lot of videos but not practicing. I was just practicing whatever I was making for the video. That was it. So I've had to do a very similar kind of process in the more recent years of hey, I need to step back and realize if you want to keep going as a musician, the first things first is we're musicians. You have to create this time to practice. So I've been practicing a lot of different stuff. One of the big things that I've been working on, and I know this always gets thrown out as a suggestion, learn a different style. Well, I've been doing that, I've been actually really dedicating myself. I've been working on this Brent Mason solo. It is for a video technically, but it's what I've been working on a lot. So I've been, all these different country licks. It sounds kind of weird on a Firebird, not a Telecaster. Now, the next big thing that has helped me out a lot as a player was focusing on the concepts of other players versus just trying to get the lick exactly right. Now, I'm kind of contradicting myself because sometimes I post these videos where I'm like, you're playing this riff wrong, and I try to do a deep dive and learn the riff as close to, perfect as I can. And that is a whole different kind of facet of playing. I think that you can learn a lot from doing that as well. But a bigger objective as players is learning the concepts behind this stuff. You hear me say it in every video, every course I've ever made, all this kind of stuff. Concept is that there's a bigger idea. I spent so many years just learning stuff, from other players. Just learning the stuff as, I'll say note for note, but I've never been a real note for note kind of player. I learned what they were playing, but I didn't learn why they were playing it, or really what was behind the playing itself. So once I started honing in, I'm like, well, why are they doing this? What's happening? Really learning the background, the backing track of whatever the solo lick is, or any of that kind of stuff, paints a whole different picture than just learning the lick itself. Now, the final thing I'll throw out here is more of a mental aspect of playing guitar, is the thought that you'll never be good enough. You'll never be that guy. You hear Paul Gilbert, you hear Eddie Van Halen, all these guys, and you're like, oh my God, I'll never play like that. And the fact is, anybody can get that good. Now, what you have to admire about guys like that, in my opinion, is creatively how good they are. You know, maybe we won't be as, you know, groundbreaking as Eddie Van Halen. It's hard to do because he's already done it. But you can still be creative and groundbreaking in your own way, in your own style of music, and, you know, all those things. That's why I was saying focus on the concepts. You take all these little things from these guys, you do your own thing with it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. That's the first thing. Just because it's not easy doesn't mean it's not worth doing. We can sit there. We can learn the stuff. You can learn an Eddie Van Halen solo, note for note if you want to, or you can do what I do, and I just kind of like take little bits and pieces of it that I like, and then you kind of like bring it on home to your own stuff. Mentally, it's also practice too. It's not just about learning the licks and stuff. Just know, we can learn it. So I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. I know there haven't been a lot of lessons here in 2023. And honestly, that was just because I got really burnt out on teaching stuff. So I'm kind of recharging the batteries a little bit. I'm enjoying just talking to you guys again. You know, I feel like I kind of stopped making these videos. There was always this kind of like, not scripted, but overall thing I wanted to talk about, and I just kept it real kind of cut and dry. And I wanted to kind of spend the year talking to you guys a little bit more because I really do appreciate how much you hang out with me. And yeah, I think it's going to be it. So I'm gonna quit blabbing. I'm gonna end it bluesy, Firebird style, and hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Bye, homies.